I know you feel like the game chewed you up and spit you out. I know you feel like the game has beat you down. You feel like the game has gotten the best of you and there's nothing left good for you in the game. But I'm here, and the solution is here, and we're going to talk about it. Let's go.
Bitch, you want all this pimping you can't afford. Perform like a punk, but want a winner's reward. Some suckers give you points, but bitch, you never scored. If you ain't paying pimping, then bitch, you getting ignored.
Okay.
I'm so sick of these.
You know, when you put your all your time, all your effort, you dedicate yourself to something and someone, and you go so hard, and then when it all comes crashing down by no doing of your own, it can be discouraging. I know it can. But the beautiful thing about life is that what doesn't kill you will make you stronger. If you still here, that means you meant to still keep going, right? And see, pimping, we can relate to that as well. Just men, period, we can relate to that as well. But you know, women are built differently. We can relate to being disappointed. We can relate to being let down. But you know, it hits women a little differently. And understandably so. Because when you dedicate yourself to something and someone, you put a lot of passion behind it in a way that men do not. And you become reliant upon, you become dependent upon that thing or that person that you dedicate yourself to, right? As you extend yourself to the point where they can rely on you and depend on you as well. You expect it to be reciprocated. But in cases when it's not, especially when you're young, and this is the time when you've dedicated yourself to this something and someone like you never have before, just to be let down, you know, it can be devastating. But I'm here to let you know that that situation is just preparation for the situations moving forward, right? As y'all have heard me say plenty of times before, the pimping gets greater with every hoe that blows. Why does the pimping get greater with every hoe that blows? Because we learn from that hoe that blew. We learn from that experience and we become better moving forward, right? You know, I've been let down. I've applied a lot of effort and energy and time towards people who didn't deserve it or didn't know what to do with it. I've been the right pimp for the wrong 304, right? But when I came to understand that I get greater with every 304 that blows, you know, I kind of celebrated to a certain extent, right? So on that same token, a 304 is supposed to get greater with every situation that goes bad with the pimping. When it comes to an end, you're supposed to become greater from that, right? Now I understand it can be discouraging and devastating, right? When you've handed this individual so much money, when you've given so much of yourself and you trusted this individual to do right by what you was giving them. You trusted this individual to build with you, right? But because of bad habits, be it drugs or gambling or just poor money management, lack of wisdom, whatever the case may be, in the end, you end up with nothing. And I can imagine how that feels for a woman. But this is what you got to understand. See, a lot of times when we go through devastating situations and discouraging situations, we allow that energy to make us quit. We allow those emotions to stagnate us and pause our movement. But what it's supposed to do is it's supposed to strengthen you. It's supposed to be used as fuel moving forward so that you can be better moving forward. See, a lot of times when you choose somebody that lets you down in that way, if you reflect back on it, 9 times out of 10, you chose for the wrong reasons. And a lot of times when you choose for the wrong reasons, you choose the wrong individual. And it can't really be counted against you when you're young and unwise and this is your first time doing this, or you haven't been doing this for a long time, right? You might choose a guy because he's sweet and he makes you feel good emotionally. You might choose a guy because he's so physically attractive to you. You might choose a guy because you like the way he dresses or the way that he takes care of himself. You know, it's various different reasons. But as I say all the time, when you stand for less, you fall for more. And when you stand for less things that you want out of a man, you stand to fall for more of what you don't want because you don't know what to look for, right? So when you go through these situations, when it's over with, you're supposed to learn from them. You're supposed to grow from them, right? And understand that, okay, I chose that individual for the wrong reasons, but the next individual I choose, now I know better. I know more what to look for. I know what I don't want, and I know what I do want. And I know what I'm supposed to have. I know who I'm supposed to be with. I know what I have to give that individual in order for it to work and make it worth that individual's while. I know how to make it make sense. Right? You're supposed to become more serious about the decisions that you make, especially when it comes to putting people in your life. You're supposed to become more intentional, which when you become wiser and you become more intentional, you tend to make better decisions. And this comes from being more serious about yourself, more serious about your time, more serious about your efforts, more serious about what you're giving to whoever you decide to line yourself up with. When you become more serious about those things, you'll make better decisions. So don't just let that be the end of it. Let that be the beginning of a new great thing. As we say in the game all the time, great things begin where good things or bad things end. So this can be the beginning of a great thing. But you have to be encouraged. And you have to understand that the greatness in you was beautiful. The greatness that you applied to that individual in that situation was beautiful. You might have just been the right 304 for the wrong P. And that happens. But now that you've gone through that experience, it's time for you to be the right 304 for the right P. Sometimes you might be the wrong 304 for the right P. And as a 304, you blow those situations and you could become discouraged by that as well. You might choose the perfect P, but you ain't ready for him. You're not mature enough. You haven't grown up enough to be the right 304 for this right P. So in that instance, you might be the wrong 304 for this right P. And because you're the wrong 304, you end up blowing the situation. It's over with. And you say to yourself, damn, I ain't going to never find anybody that good in the game again. I'm never going to be able to level up to that. So I might as well be a renegade, or I might as well just not be in the game. But it doesn't have to be that way, right? From that, what you're supposed to get is a lesson on how to appreciate the right P and how to be the right P, the right 304 for the right P. That's what you're supposed to get from that. See, them past situations that go bad, they supposed to fire you up. You got to dig deep down inside yourself and pull that greatness out because it's in there. It might have been suppressed by your emotions because you got discouraged by however that last situation went bad. And you might think to yourself that, there's nothing good for you in the game, but nah, It's the right individual out there for you to choose. You just got to be more intentional and more serious about yourself and what you giving. And understanding that, you know, when you choose somebody, you're not just choosing with your money. See, the other individuals you might have just chose with your money and you didn't choose with everything. And that might have factored into why things didn't go right either. But this time you're going to choose with your 304, not just with your money, but with your 304. Your 304 is all of you. Your hoeing is all of you. Right? You're going to dedicate yourself in a way that you never have, but you're going to make sure that the individual is worthwhile. Right? That's the beautiful thing about the times that we live in. It's more available and possible and easier than ever to research people. Do your homework. Figure out who you're dealing with. Right? But the individual is out there. You just got to like them for the right reasons. Right? Don't get caught up in the situation, because that might be how things went bad the first time as well, or the last time. You might have chose the situation instead of choosing the man. And you're going to make a much better decision when you pay more attention to the man in the situation as opposed to the situation that the man is in. Right? See, this is the toughest thing, right? This is the toughest challenge for a lot of females in the game. But it's the most worthwhile challenge to stand up to. Because when you stand up to this challenge, you're going to unlock a level of greatness within yourself that you never knew was there. And this challenge that I'm talking about is a word I know a lot of chicks be allergic to. You can't stand this word, but it's called accountability. When you grow up to a point and mature to a point where you can hold yourself accountable before anybody else can for the mistakes that you make or the missteps that you make, you're going to unlock something within yourself that you never knew was there. And from there, that's going to empower you that much more to make better decisions moving forward. But don't get discouraged. You know, it's a beautiful time to be a 304. It's a beautiful time to do some great 304ing. A better time than ever up until this point. It's never been a better time to be a 304. So don't be discouraged. Don't be discouraged by what you've been through. Don't be discouraged by what you see others going through or what you see others doing. Right? Be encouraged, because you're going to be greater moving forward. You're going to make better decisions moving forward. And the next individual that you choose, you're going to be the right 304 for that right P. And y'all going to be right for each other. And y'all going to build with each other. Right? Don't let your time in the game be for nothing. You know, you stayed down, you did your best, and it didn't go right. You got let down, you got discouraged. Don't let that all be for nothing. Add that all to the gumbo pot of your greatness moving forward. Let that all be a part of the ingredients in the recipe for your greatness. Right? Because in the words of my brother Sinful to P, what's to come is better than what's been. You dig? Let that marinate on your mind one time. Freeze is it. Put some of this good old love in your body like so. And of course, as always, long live the incomparable Sinful to P. We out. Dig this.
Nah.
I been stroking relentless to get waves like this. I spoke into existence for her to pay like this. In the trenches on a day like this, traffic consistent, and so I have to insist that she relay my chips. It's a trap with her name on it and my game on it. Any forces coming against this game, shame on it. Standing on my pimpin' from day one and remain on it. It carried me through every terrain and I gained on it. Experience joy and pain on it, sustained on it.
But getting back to this game that I never left.
Daily